We are live.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So hello everyone. I think my voice is audible to all the students. So a very good evening to all the my dear students and the dear participants. So we are going to start our third day short-term course on the topic titled ABCD of Process Dynamics and Control Design. In order to that, we have covered in the last two days process model will be developed. Okay, and what are different types of model we have, like such as linear, nonlinear, lumped, distributed, and lumped distributed like that. Huh? So we have already studied different types of problem. Also, we have case study we have seen and how the model will be developed. Huh? We have already understand these things. We have covered the transfer function, the meaning of transfer function, and today we will study the controller part also. So keep in the mind this slide that is visible pressure amplifier. So keep in this mind. We will cover this also today. Realizing the controller using the operation amplifier, and we have seen the different types of model of the mechanical system, chemical system. Okay, and then yesterday we have discussed the started with the state space model, and then we have taken one example of a non-interacting and interacting tank system, and we have seen the response of the that compare the response of the interacting and non-interacting tanks, and seen the difference of that. Okay, then we have discussed yesterday different types of the basic signals. Okay, that is actually supplied to the input as an input to the any the model or the process. So we have discussed about basic four types of the standard test signal, that is the impulse signal, a step signal, and the ramp signal, and then the parabolic signal. Okay, then we have understand this, what is the impulse signal, what is the step signal. Okay, what are the limitations and how the impulse signal will be derived, and what is the value at t equal to 0 of the step signal in actual. Then ramp signal we have discussed. Then we have established the relationship between the impulse, step, ramp, and parabolic. Okay, so, and then we have discussed the different types of transient response and distributed response. So we have discussed the order and type of the system yesterday. Okay, and we have taken one example of 1 by s plus 1, 1 upon s plus 1, and we have find the transfer function is given by 1 by s plus 1, and we have determined how what is the type and order of that system. Okay, so now we are okay, and then we have yesterday discussed the first order system. Okay, and the response of that first order system using the impulse input as well as the step input. Okay, and we have checked the response of that system, right? And we have defined the time constant. Okay, DC gain, and then we have seen what is the effect of time constant when it is increased or decreased, right? And similarly, we have seen the effect of gain, DC gain, when it is increased or decreased. Okay, then we have solved numerical problems of this real-time problems of a step change of flow and effect of the temperature. Okay, and we have established we have developed a model, process model for this process. Okay, first order model. So we have solved this one. Okay, Then we have discussed with the zero case. If the zero of the system is present in the first order system, then what is the effect? Okay. Then we have discussed the delays problem. We have taken one example: delays problem e to the power minus stdd is combined with the first order system. Then we have seen the you can check the step response or the impulse response of the system also. Then we have this approximation of transportation lag. Okay, we have actually understand what is the meaning of the transportation lag or the dead time or the distance velocity lag. So we have tried to understand these things. Okay, now then we have discussed yesterday about the transportation lag approximation, that the first order payday and the second order payday. Okay, then we have all things that we have covered. Now, now today we are going to start with the second order system. Okay, a second order system is highly very much important in, for the control engineers. Okay, so you know what we have discussed the effect of location of post and zero on the transient response of first order system. So when you see the basic the transfer function of is taking like this one. Okay, this is the gain of the process, and we have taken the unity feedback. Okay, uh, as a feedback. Okay, unity. Then we have calculated the response, the transfer function cs upon rs, and cs upon rs for the if suppose this is gs. Okay, and let's say this is the hs. The feedback is represented always in the control system. Okay, hs, and this is gs. So the transfer function for this type of feedback system is nothing but gs upon 1 plus gshs, right? 1 upon gshs. So this is the transfer function where gs is given in this problem is omega n square upon s into s plus 2 zeta omega n. This is the zeta. Okay, this is the zeta, this is the omega n. What is this? I will just cover in some moment. So this is the hs is taken as unity feedback. So when you solve this equation, you got this term omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. So basically, this equation represent the standard form of the second order system, where omega n is nothing but the undamped natural frequency. It is a very important term. What is the meaning of undamped? We will discuss sometimes in some moments. So omega n is basically a undamped natural frequency of the second order system. Okay, and undamped natural frequency means the frequency of oscillation of the system without damping. It means undamped means there is no damp. Okay, so how it will be seen? We will just see with some example. So next is the zeta. Okay, zeta is basically a damping ratio, right? Damping ratio of the second order system, and it measures basically the degree of resistance to change in the system output. Okay, so this is the you have to remember this equation, because this is the one of the most important equation of the second order equation of the control system that is widely used. Okay, so that is omega n square. I'm just repeating once again. The transfer function of the second order equation, that is a standard equation, is omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square, where omega is the undamped natural frequency and zeta is the damping ratio. Right? Now, see, this is the one example we have taken. Determine the undamped natural frequency and damping ratio. We have to calculate the for your for your better understanding. I have taken one example. This we have to calculate the omega and zeta. Okay, so you know the standard equation is omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta s square plus 2 zeta 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square, okay, plus omega n square. So you can compare this equation with this, okay, and you can find out the value. Okay, so omega n square is nothing but the 4, and 2 zeta omega ns is nothing but the 2. Okay, so s square plus 2 zeta omega n. So this is the value. This is the equation, and and when you put the this zeta omega n, the value of zeta omega n is nothing but the 2, and the value of omega n is 1. So when you put the value, you can find out the value of zeta, and zeta is damping ratio, and it is 0.5 for this problem. Okay, so now what should be the value of zeta, we will decide later. So now come to this problem. Now cs upon rs, if that is transfer function of the second order system, is basically we have given by the formula omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega n plus omega n square. So now, when you talk about the pole of the system, okay. So when you find out the pole, so there are two poles. Since this is the quadratic equation, so when you solve this, the root of this polynomials or the quadratic equation, you will get two roots. Okay. So first root is it is the complex root. Sorry, this is the root. It will come like this one. Okay, minus omega and zeta plus omega n square under root zeta square minus 1, and minus omega n zeta minus omega n root under zeta square minus 1. So these are the two poles will come when you solve this zeta. Okay, according to the value of zeta, a second order system can be set into the 1 4 category. What is that category? Uh, we have taken this from the BC Co. Okay, BC Co, and BC Co it is given. So overdamped. What is the meaning of overdamped? What is the meaning? There are two categories. First category is overdamped. Okay, overdamped. Second category is the undamped, underdamped. Okay, and third category is undamped. Okay, and fourth category is critically damped. Okay, so there are four types of problem usually occurred in the in the control system, in the second order system. Okay, first the overdamped system, second is the underdamped system, third is the undamped system, and fourth fifth one is the critically damped system, right? So it is very important to understand what is the meaning of this one. Okay, now see, it is it is decided by only the zeta. It is decided by only the zeta. Let's say I have taken one example here, or this is the location of pole also is this zone. Okay, so we will see after some time this one you can understand it. Okay, so that you will understood it very easily. Where is that? One minute. This I think this is not given. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Let's say our standard equation is given omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega ns. Okay, 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. So let's say you fix the value of omega n. Let's say omega n you have fixed the value, let's say 1. Okay, and this is the unknown frequency. Okay, now, just to try to varying the value of zeta from 0 to 1. So first to put the value 0. So when you put the value 0, it means omega n square becomes s square. The equation modified equation becomes s square plus omega n square, or it becomes 1 upon s square plus nothing, s square plus 1, right? Or when you take the the Laplace inverse, then it becomes simply sine t, right? Sine t. Okay, so when you draw the response of sine t, this one is the naturally oscillates signal is this one. When you find the pole of the system, then minus j and plus j, you got two complex pole you got. Okay, so when you're talking about the un, uh, undamped system, undamped system means your location, that is your sinusoidal signal, that is 1 upon s square plus 1, where zeta is set to 0, then such type of condition will occur. And what is the meaning of undamped? Undamped means there is no damping occurred. The oscillatory signals will go like this. Okay, so this one is the basically your undamped system. Like, so there are two poles will be found at the imaginary axis. Okay, at the imaginary axis. Okay, so this one is the case for the undamped system. Now, just to increase the value of zero, just to increase the value of zero. Uh, okay, just to take the value of zeta from 0 to 1. Let's say I have taken the value of zeta is 0.5, and now calculate the value. Since omega n we have fixed and this omega n is 1, so what is the transfer function? So 1 upon s square plus 2 zeta. 2 zeta means 2 into zeta becomes 1. S plus becomes 1. So when you solve this equation, okay, you got such type of complex conjugate pole. Okay, complex conjugate pole minus 1 plus minus j, I think. So whatever the, you can calculate this one using quadratic equation. Okay, so s is equals to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Using that equation, you can find the pole. And when you find the pole, you will got the two complex conjugate poles, and that is the negative sides. Okay, so minus and minus will be there. Minus b plus minus root under b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So this will be the negative. This will be the negative. Real part is always negative, and that is the this is the imaginary part, that is will become the one positive and one the negative value, right? So this is the case for the underdamped. So why I am saying this underdamped? When what is when you take the Laplace inverse of this case. So just to when you solve this one using the partial fraction or s square, you can know when you do the some manipulation in this equation, that is the half of this one. So 1 by 2. So I think 1 by 2 of some s per 1 by 2 like this one. Okay, and plus 1. So it is like this type of equation becomes, I don't know the exact value, you can find, you can solve with the mathematics. Okay, so I know ultimately you will got like e to the power minus t sine t type form. Okay, e to the power minus t sine t types of form, because when you solve this type of Laplace inverse, then this type of response will come. And when once you got the e to the power minus t sine t types of uh, equation, then you when you solve this when you draw basically the response, you got the such type of this is the sinusoidal signal, and then sinusoidal is decreasing, or since e to the power minus t is here, that is the diminishing, so that is responsible for the diminishing the signal. Okay, and this is the sine t, right? So sine t is the oscillatory in nature. So when both are the combined, such type of response will be occurred. Okay, so this is the e to the power minus t. Sine t type response is there. So okay, so it means the first where you have seen in the first case, in the undamped case, you have seen the oscillation is continuous. Okay, the oscillation is continuous and sustained oscillation is there. Okay, in the second case, when this case is occurred when zeta equal to 0. Now, when you increase the value of zeta from 0 to 1, when we have taken the 0.5, then you have seen such type of underdamped this sustained oscillation has been changed, and changed to the underdamped type of system. Now see what happened at when zeta is taken as accurately at 1. So this is the third case, critically damped. Critically damped means beta equals to 1. It means when we have taken, again we have taken the same case, omega n 1 and zeta is equals to 1. So the s square plus 2s plus 1 is becomes like this one, okay? And it is nothing but 1 upon s plus 1 whole square, okay? And 1 upon a square, when you solve this one, then you will got like the two poles. The two pole s is equals to minus 1 and minus 1 you got, and it is shown here. So this is double pole occurred in the left hand side, okay, left hand side of the complex plane. And when you plot this one in the time domain, or just to find the inverse Laplace, so you got t e to the power minus t. When you plot this one, this time t is like this, okay. This is a linear, and then this is a linear, okay. And then when you draw this e to the power minus t, then it decreases like this, okay. Ultimately this will diminishing, okay. Ultimately at the time, at the infinite time, t is equals to infinite, it will go into diminished, okay. So this is the case for the critically damped. It means when zeta is equals to 0, you got the undamped type of response. When zeta is equals to 0 and 1, in between the 0 and 1, when zeta is in between the sorry, uh, zeta is in between the 0 and 1, zeta is in between the 0 and 1, then you got the underdamped type of response. And when zeta is equal to 1, then you got the critically types of critically damped system, okay. Now the fourth case is when zeta is greater than 1. Okay, that's the we have taken here the first case, overdamped. So when the zeta is greater than 1, suppose let's say we have taken zeta is equals to 2, okay, and when we solve 1 upon s square plus 4s plus 4s plus 1. So after the solving, you will got the two poles, okay. You can solve the Laplace inverse of this one. So you got such type of poles minus b minus a, but the relationship like will come like this one, over damped type of system is increasing in the nature. So I think you understand these things. What is the condition for the underdamped, undamped, critically damped, and overdamped? Okay, with the help of this, okay. Now you can also understand with this root also, when you put the value of zeta and omega as per your convenience. Suppose we have taken omega and fix 1, and you have varying the value of zeta and put the value, and as per their respective value, you can plot the equation. You can plot the poles as their location, and you can also plot the response of that system by taking the inverse of that Laplace transform, okay. So this is the four type of case we have discussed here, and it is these four are very important for the control engineers. Now, see here, we are generally considering the control engineers are not bothered about basically, the fourth. Okay, sorry. So the these four these four systems are very very important for the control engineers. Overdam systems are usually unstable, and we are not considering, we are not taking that the overdam system for the designing of any control instruments. However, we will see how, which system is correct, as per your suggestion, as per your thinking. What do you think about that? Which types of response are very good? So in that perception, when you recall this response, so you will found that the critically damped systems are one of the best response given, because critically damped means we are just what we want from the system. We want from the system that we just achieve without any delay. We achieve the target or the set point. Okay, without any delay. Okay, there should be no delay, and we found the and with the no error. Okay, also with the no, there will no error also. We just we achieve the target value. Okay, so critically damped is one of the good, but the setting the value zeta equals to 1 is not feasible. Okay, zeta setting the value of zeta is exactly 1 is not feasible for any instrument. Therefore, an overdamped system, as you have seen, that is not realizable, that is not stable, because this is like this the response is going like this infinite after in time. Okay, so we have taken the under damped system in the consideration. Okay, and we will considering only the under damped system for your control system process. So we have defined some definition in the control system for the under damped system. So in this is the control, you can say control performance parameter. These are the control performance parameter mentioned here, that is the delay time, rise time, peak time, maximum overshoot, settling time. And beside that, we will discuss in the tuning about the quarter amplitude ratio, QR, or okay, we will discuss what is this one. So one by one, we will try to clear what is the delay time, what is the rise time, what is the peak time, okay, what is the maximum overshoot, what is the settling time. So these are some basic fundamentals generally asked in your board exam, on the semester exam, or in the also based on this response of the second order system under the under dam system. Generally, the gate problem may be asked. Okay, so when you're talking about what is the okay, okay, why we are bothering about this response? This is also one of question. So once I already told, our target is to achieve this value in without any error in very short time, or you can say the zero time, but it's not possible. There's always some response. There's a time taking for taking in reaching to the response. Okay, and some error will also generated. Okay, and therefore we are defined these performance parameters, and we are trying to optimize or minimize using these parameters using some control techniques. Okay, so these are the scenario, right? uh, okay, these are the scenario. Now, when you're talking about what is the delay time, right? What is the delay time? Delay time is as you seen from the visualize from this picture. You can found that delay time is nothing but the time of time taking for the response to reach at the 50% of the final value. So suppose this is the set point, okay, set point, and the 50% of set point is here, and whatever the time taking to reach here, this time corresponds to no rise time. Okay, this is a uh, sorry sorry delay time. Okay, sorry delay time. This one is the delay time. Now, when you're talking about the rise time is nothing but this is 100% when you achieve whatever the time lag for achieving that 100%, that is the rise time. Okay, not the peak time. Peak time means this is this response is going like this and crossing your expectation, crossing your desired value set point, and then after some peak value, it will now going to reducing your value, and then again it will setting towards your no your set point, and then the first maximum peak value, that is the maximum peak value. This is known as maximum overshoot. Okay, maximum overshoot. This peak value is overshoot, and the time taking to reach this peak value is known as peak time. Okay, this is the peak time. Now come towards other things that is very important. After this is a peak time, okay, a maximum overshoot, and when it goes down to when it crosses to the desired value and reducing and going the value downwards from the set points, then the negative peak value is known as maximum undershoot. Okay, this is the undershoot, and the upper value is known as the upper value is known as this value is known as overshoot. Okay, so the response, general response is like this one, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, why I'm saying 1, 2, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is ultimately 4. So you can see that after the four cycle, third cycle, it is approximately achieve the your set point or your desired value, with maybe with some error, or maybe the same value. Okay, so the tolerance band is defined. The tolerance band means it is the value by which the final value we can consider, or we can tolerate at the settling time, at the settling value. Let's say one is your one is your sets, one is your final set point. Okay, one is your final set point, and we achieve the signal, the response like this one. Okay, and the final value is like this value is let's say 1.01. Okay, or maybe this value is like no, this like is this one, 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4. Okay, and this is the final value. So let's say this is 0.95. 0.95. The value may be like this one, or maybe like this one, or it achieves 1 also. So it depends on the condition, what you are going to what you are achieving. So it mean this is 0.95 or 1.01. So is it, our question is this value are tolerable or not? Okay, so we have defined some tolerance value. Okay, so tolerance means 0.02% tolerance, or 2% tolerance and 5% tolerance are generally standardly defined value. This is the defined standard tolerance value. Okay, so 2% means we can tolerate 1.02 and 1.05 in maximum, and similarly 0.95 and like 0.98 for the 2%. Okay, so these are some tolerable value are available. The tolerance is defined in the control, the second order under damped system response. Okay, so till time we have seen what we have understand what is the delay time, we have rise time, what is the peak time, and what is the maximum overshoot, and what is the settling time. Now, what is the settling time? When we define the settling time, it means after the four cycle, after the three cycle or four cycle, you are seeing, visualizing this curves are going to settle. Okay, so what if the time taking to this value is defined as settling time. Okay, so in mathematically it is everything is defined. So delay time is here defined to require time required for the response to reach half of the final value of the very first time. Then this is the rise time. Okay, uh, okay, or this is the system for the overdamped system, it's a 10 to 90%, and underdamped system it is the 0 to 100%. So if the system is underdamped, the gene we are taking the 0 to 100%. However, if the system is overdamped, then the definition is slightly changed, and it is from 10 to 90%. Okay, So generally we encountered the underdamped system, so there's no problem in that. So the peak time is this one. Okay, this is the peak time. The peak time is the time required for the response to reach the first peak of the overshoot. Okay. Uh, okay. One question had been asked in the gate examination, as I remembered. So they have asked the third overshoot. Okay. So okay, second overshoot. Sorry, second overshoot. So second overshoot will come is what is your opinion for the second overshoot? So second overshoot is this one or first one is this one? This one is second overshoot? No. It is the first undershoot. It is the first undershoot. Second overshoot is always here and second undershoot is always here. Okay. So if the anyone asked question what is the time taking to the second peak, so you have to given this value. Okay, you have to determine this value. Okay, right. So next is the maximum overshoot. The formula for the maximum overshoot is given ct minus c infinite divided by ct, this one. So this is the basically, I have already defined the tolerance value, usually 2% or 5%. So 2% or 5% tolerance is defined under standard. Allowable tolerance is this one. Okay. Now the step response comes towards the. So in the book, I have not written here the formula for these uh, parameters, how to calculate these parameters. Okay, so the formula has been derived in your book, and one to two problems generally asked in your semester exam and your the any competitive exam of the control system. If the control system has been asked, then say from the second order system, such type of problem may be asked or must be asked. Okay, so just go through that from the book. Now come to the response of the system, how the response has been calculated. Okay, so let's say this is the step response we have taken. This is the standard equation of the second order system, omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. And the step response mean we have taken 1 upon s. Okay, 1 upon s is the Laplace transform of the unit step function, and it is multiplied with the your function, that is the transfer function, this one omega n square plus, and then just using the partial fraction, and during the partial fraction you can separate this polynomials like this one, and using the permutation combination of the polynomials, just to break this equation and try to find out the final equation. Okay, so this is the equation becomes like this. Okay, after solving, so this one is nothing but the it is like what, it is like the s plus zeta omega minus e to the power minus something into t into something, right? So this is your if it's written in the root under 1 minus zeta square of square. Okay, so and omega n square, so it becomes like the equation like this one. Omega d is defined. Okay, omega d is defined omega n into root under 1 minus zeta square here. Omega d is defined omega n into root under 1 minus zeta square. Okay, and you can square this one. Okay, so this term becomes now. Okay, so this is the omega d. So now the equation becomes 1 upon s plus 2 zeta omega n. Okay, and in the denominator s plus zeta omega n square plus omega d square, right? So this is basically this omega d. Omega n is known as undamped natural frequency. However, omega d is known as damped natural frequency. It is very, very important. Omega d is known as damped natural frequency. That is denoted by omega n into root under 1 minus zeta square. It is very important. Okay. So now when you take the inverse Laplace transform of this equation, When you take the Laplace inverse Laplace we have to take the inverse Laplace transform of this polynomial, this equation. So how we will take? See, so it is s plus 2 zeta omega n is written s plus zeta omega n minus zeta omega n. We have just to break up this values, and then we have taken the uh, we have tried to solve the equation. Okay, so for this is no problem. Omega s upon s square plus omega n square is nothing but the cos omega, the Laplace is, it is the Laplace of cos, na? And it is when omega d is defined as omega n root under 1 minus zeta square. Okay, you know then a upon s square plus a square is the sine 80 Laplace value, inverse Laplace value. Okay, so for that a we have fixing, this is the omega n is already here, omega n is already here, zeta is already here. Okay, what is we don't have, it is, we don't have the root under 1 minus zeta square. So we have multiplied with the 1 minus zeta square and taking the division of this equation. Okay, now I think it is clear to all of you up to this point. Okay, so if you want to ask any query, okay, we have to taking the last. Okay, that query, because we are on the YouTube. Okay, so based on this equation, based on that compressed solution, that we have taken 1 upon s. In this equation there is no problem, just we have copied. This value is written here, zeta upon 1 minus zeta square, and we have defined omega n upon root of omega zeta square as omega d, and this point, this denominator is written here. So there is no problem in this equation also. Now find out just the Laplace inverse now. So what is the Laplace inverse of 1 upon s? This is the unit step value, it's 1, and this is nothing but e to the power minus t into e to my zeta omega and t into cos omega dt, right? And it is a upon, as I have said, discussed, to e to the power minus zeta omega and t into sine omega dt. Okay, and this is this value. So I think there is no problem in this equation also, but it is very very important, the whatever the value is found, the ct is equals to 1 upon zeta omega nt into cos omega dt, minus zeta upon root under 1 zeta square e to the power minus zeta omega nt upon sine omega dt. So this is a final equation. Okay, now we can take the common term zeta e to the 1 zeta omega nt, and we have defined like this one. Okay, now again we are using some permutation combination to solve this equation in some standard form. Okay, so when you take the zeta equals to 0, when you take the zeta equals to 0, the equation becomes like this one. Okay, theta ct is becomes only 1 minus cos omega nt, because omega d is it na, and you have to put the value of zeta equals to 0, so you can put this value here. Okay, and you can put here value, and you can find that equation. Okay, so when omega is equals to 0.1 and omega is equals to 3, you can plot this equation like this one also. Okay, and when zeta is equals to, when zeta is increased, you can see here where what happened when zeta is equals to 0.1. Okay, then such type of response has been occurred. Okay, okay, such type of response is occurred, and when zeta is equals to 0, when you plot and omega is equals to 3, you will found the sustained oscillation. Okay, now sorry, not sustained oscillation, sorry, zeta is equal. So when yes, sustained oscillation, right? Now when you increase the value zeta is equals to 0.1, then you got some type of under damped type of equation. Okay, now when you increase some value, it is also under damped, but you are near to your damping is now much more this value is much more accurate. This response is much more accurate than this previous value. Okay, you can see from here. Okay, so this is the set point. This is the set point, and there is a is there is a much more error in this as comparison to this value. Okay, now this is when you increase the value theta is equals to 0.9. You can see you have achieved the value. Okay, you achieved the value with a less error at omega n equal to 3. So these are the some under damped system response. I think you have understood it. So I'm just summarize this one. What is the meaning of second order system? Second order system is defined as omega n square upon s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. And by varying the zeta, the value of zeta and the value of omega n, generally the response has been defined. So generally the zeta will decide, the variation of zeta will decide the response of the system. There are the four types of response we'll get in the second order system. First, the overdamped. Second is the underdamped. Third is the undamped, and fourth is the critically damped. Okay. So based on that, we have developed the different types of response. Now, come to the stability terms. Okay, or since this is the introductory class, and if you will try, if the time will allow it, day after tomorrow or tomorrow, then we will discuss the in the deep of the stability theory. Okay, we will take some examples, and we'll take some theoretical part that's like such as root locus, Bode plot, and Nyquist. Okay, Rao theory. There are some techniques to determine the stability of the system. But here we will only restricted our PPT only restricted to the concept of the stability and what is the meaning of the stability only. Okay, in the terms of transfer function and in the terms of state space equation. Okay, so there are three picture is given, but I promise if the time will be there, then I will cover all these four topics. That is the Bode plot, Nyquist, and the root locus. Okay, because I want to because these are the some topics it will be covered in our class also. It is the conventional topics. This is must covered in the class, but some topics such as the research area, such as such going on and the tuning of some control technique controller and the final control element is generally not covered in the class and not well given in the book also. Okay, so we will try to cover that part that is not generally covered in the class. Okay, so we will try to cover today the controller, and then we will try to cover the tuning of controller. Then if the time will allow, then we will go further. Okay, so you can see the three picture here, ABC. First cone is there. First cone is basically set here, and you can say this is the stable system. And second is just laid down. So this one is you can say this is the neutral. And third picture is very very highly unstable because it may be it is like but in childhood childhood you just play with one type of that is a lattu. एंड लट्टू जब हम लोग नचाते थे डांस कराते थे उसको क्या करते थे कि हम लोग उसको उसको एक पॉइंट के अराउंड घूमता रहता था बट due to centrifugal force or centripetal force that is the moving but after some time जो रोटेशन खत्म होने के बाद धीरे धीरे क्या करता था वो गिर जाता था तो सेम यहीं पर है यहाँ पे ये वेरी 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 हाईली अनस्टेबल सिस्टम है आप इसको देख सकते हैं और second example just I want to mention that is the you have seen in the pendulum clock इन द पेंडुलम क्लॉक में क्या होता था पहले कि पेंडुलम क्लॉक is there's a bob inside the pendulum. Okay, and bob is moving from one point to one stream to another stream, and after some time when you release the bob from the maximum stream, after some time it will settle down, it will settle down, it will settle down like this one. Suppose the this is the bob, and this bob is this is the extreme point and this one is the extreme point. Okay, so when you release this one, then the oscillation is going like this one. After this is again under damp type system, okay, and then it is the stabilized. So this situation is, this is the stable system, okay, and this is the, and when the pendulum is, when the pendulum, this is the pendulum, okay, and when the pendulum is again rotating about a pi 180 degree and set the pendulum here, so is it possible to fix here? Is it possible to fix here? No. So it is unstable condition. So this is the case, it called inverted pendulum, and it's a non-linear problem. And we have to, our target is to, the find the stabilize such type of pendulum. Okay, we have to. Our target is to stabilize such type of problems or such type of case. Okay, inverted pendulum. So this is the case. Okay, so now what I think it is understand is what is the meaning of stability here in term of this picture. Okay, now come to the theoretical part. What is the meaning of stability? When a process is disturbed from initial state, say by implementing a change in the input forcing function. Let's say when you are changing the input forcing function, it means when you supply 1 upon s, or the impulse function or the step function or any value or sinusoidal function, generally it responds in three ways. First, the steady state remain there. The steady state remain there. Okay. Second, it will go like this one. It means it is the overdamped system. Okay. And third, it is the sustained, it has some sustained oscillation. Okay. So what do you think about the stability of these three terms? Anyone wants to comment on this stability? Acha, oh, we are on the live, sorry. Okay. So when you're talking about the stability of the system, so the stability is defined in terms of here for the LTI system only. For we are talking on the, I'm just restricted with the LTI system. Okay. So LTI system, in the LTI system, we are talking for the, BIBO system. So what is the BIBO system? You can see from this picture. First, we have defined what happened at t tends to infinite. At the t, at the infinite time, our the value, the steady state, it means whatever we have, the the desired value we have achieved after a, after a certain interval, after a certain interval of time, that at a t equals to infinite. But in this case, in the third case, we are not able to achieve the, the final value, but we are we are on the, we are not we have the sustained type of oscillation also. Okay. But here we have seen, as the time passes, the response is going to infinite. So our definition becomes, as t tends to infinite, the response should be diminishes. If the response is totally diminishes or able to diminishes, then the system is said to be stable. If it is not like that, then the system is called unstable. But what about the third case? Third case is the different case. It is neither the infinite or nor the zero. In this case, this is the e to the power minus t likes the case. Then the response is again diminishing. Like in this case, you can say the t times to infinite, the response is like this one. Okay, then the system is, you can say the stable. However, the unstable system is, the at the t times to infinite, our response is saying it is going towards the infinite. I don't know what is the value at the t is equals to infinite, but here we can say that t times to infinite, this is zero, approaching towards zero. But here in this case, as the t tends to infinite, the value is sustaining, or the value is fixed at a particular value, or it is a fixed value. Okay. So there are three conditions. So this is a stable, this is unstable, and this is neutral. So this is in the control system. It is this such type of case is known as marginal stability. Marginal stability. Okay. In the control system, it is generally known as marginal stability. Right. So we have defined what is the definition. The definition becomes if the response to bounded input, the dynamic trajectory of a system remains bounded as t is equals to infinite. Bounded means it is the bounded signal. It is the bounded signal, and the response is also bounded. However, this response is not bounded. However, this is also bounded, but the value is fixed. Okay. So if it is approaching towards zero, then system is stable. If it is unbounded, then the system is unstable. If it is bounded, but not diminishing towards the value zero or approaching towards zero, the system is said to be marginal stable. Okay. So if this is the case, now the control engineers have to give some answer of some classical question. So when is the linear system stable? When the nonlinear system is stable. Can a system is unstable by itself? Okay, that is the natural unstable. Is the system is naturally unstable, or it can be made stable by adding some control system? Is it possible to make the unstable system to the stable system using the control system, or can a naturally a stable system made be unstable? So there are some questions. Okay, so we have to make the system unstable to a stable and a stable to unstable, a stable to unstable. This is the question. Can we make? So we have to find this question, this answer of this such questions. Okay. So now we have to first understand, we have to give the answer of this question. For before going to the answer of this question, we have to just check the other things also. Now, in the terms of now pole zero system, pole zero terms, how the customary is defined. It's a basic, it is a basic, very basic definition. It is a very raw definition, but the basic concept is always, you know, uh, the beneficial. So the concept of stability is here defined as whatever your poles found, if the poles is lying in the left hand side, okay, then the system is said to be stable. So why it is so? Why the pole are lying when what is the logic behind that? Why I'm saying if the poles are lying in the left hand side, the system is said to be stable. So let's say our pole is 1 upon our transfer function is 1 upon s plus 1. Usually it is a closed loop system. Okay. So our pole is lying at s is equals to minus 1. So it is when it is minus 1, it means when you take the Laplace inverse of this one, this is the e to the power minus t, and e to the power minus t is like this one. Okay. Now see 1 upon s square plus s plus 1. Okay. 1 upon s square plus 1. It means again it is the t into something like this one, or e to the power minus t upon, sorry, e to the power minus t into sine t type. The graph is like this one. So again it is again diminishing when at the t is equals to infinite. So when t is approaching towards infinite, our target is, if the Laplace inverse or the response is approaching towards zero, then you're said to be stable. So find out that type of the poles and plotting poles, and then it is found that all the poles are lying in the left hand side. So it means that we have generalized the value. If the poles are lying in the left hand side, then the systems are stable, and if any one of the poles are going towards right, the system becomes unstable. It means the poles, if the poles are lying as far the distance from the origin, from the left hand side, the system are most stable. Okay. So One concept is written in the book dominant pole. Okay, dominant pole, and dominant pole concept is written in the Nagarath and M. Gopal book. And one question is already been asked in the gate examination, 1 upon s plus 1. If I am right, so s plus 1 upon s plus 100 or something is given. Okay, so such type of problem is asked, and one question is I don't remember exactly what is the question, but the dominant pole concept is like this one. So first pole is lying at s is equals to minus 100, and second, let's say this is the minus 100, and this is, let's say, s is equals to 1. Okay, so which one is the more dominant? So this value is not affecting the stability because it is far away. It is very very far away to the from the origin point. Okay, so this will not affect on the stability highly. So what is the effective what is the effective poles? Effective poles is 1 upon s plus 1 only. So this second order system may be approximated to the 1 upon s plus 1. Okay, so this is the concept of the dominant pole. Okay, so it is very very important to know what is the. So if all the poles of the system lie in the left half plane, the system is said to be stable. If any of the poles lie in the right half plane, the system is unstable. And if the pole are lying on the marginally imaginary axis, the system is said to be imaginary axis. It is not totally correct. Okay, I have taken from some book, but it is not totally correct. By see the case. Let's say this is the origin. Then the this is 1 upon s, and when you plot the inverse of this one, this is the step input. Okay, no problem in this one. So it is correct, marginally stable. Now when you draw the like this one, okay, 1 upon j omega and this one, then again is the sine t will got, and when you plot this one, then such type of property will come, and again it is right, no problem in this one also. But when you talking about this one, but when you're talking about this one, double pole at the same value, double pole at the same value, there are two imaginary poles. There are double imaginary poles lying at the same value. Let's say minus j omega is this one and minus j omega is this one. This value is minus j omega. Sorry, this is the value plus j omega, and this value is minus j omega and minus j omega. So when you solve, then you got t into e to the power, sorry, t into sine t type response. And again, this one is the unstable. Okay, this is the unstable. This is unstable case. So remember, marginally stable, it is right, but not for the double pole. Not for the double pole. Okay, always remember. So the system is said to be stable if for any bounded input, the outputs is also bounded. What we have already discussed. For the bounded input, the output should be bounded, and then the system is unstable. Okay. Then for bounded input, the if the output is not bounded, the system is said to be unstable. This is a case. Okay. Now see, 1 upon s plus 3 is given, and 1 plus s plus s minus 3 is given. So s 1 upon s plus 3, the pole is located here. The system is said to be stable, and the pole is located here. The system is said to be unstable. Okay. So these are the some case you can find out. E to the minus 3t. You can see the stable, and see here. It is the final case. It's the right half plane and is the left half plane. So this is the location of the poles. This is the location of poles. If the 0 0, if the poles is located, single pole is located here, their response is like this one. Okay, when the two conjugate poles are lying minus this one and this one, then your response is like this. When your pole is lying like this one, okay, single pole like this one, then e to the power minus t side t type of e to the power t to the minus side t to the power minus, sorry, t e to the power minus t, or e to the power minus t, simply e to the power minus t, that is 1 upon s plus 1. Okay, so such type of problem is here. Now, when the positive poles are there, then 1 upon s minus 1. Again, this type of problem is will come when your we have seen already this one s plus 1 upon s plus 1 upon whole square. Okay, so this one and this one will come like this. Okay, and when the two positive when two positive conjugate complex poles are occurred, there such type of response will get. Okay, so this is the overall pictures of the response. Okay, yeah, or this picture has been taken from the Kafner book. Okay, so one or two students yesterday had asked some problems. एक मिनट, कुछ देर के बाद wait for a moment. There's some urgency. Okay, the office. So can we take a moment here, Amitesh? Can we wait 2 minutes? 2 minutes?
Yes, sir. 5 minutes break we can take.
Okay. After 5 minutes, we just join. Okay.
Okay, sir.
हेलो, रुकना है अमतेश या स्टार्ट करें?
सर लाइव है हम लोग.
अच्छा, स्टार्ट करते हैं फिर.
हाँ ठीक है, स्टार्ट करते हैं.
Okay. So this is the all the case we have discussed. Whatever the pole location is there, then based on that we can decide the stability of that system. Okay. So BIVO transfer function we have discussed. Okay. Now see, I just we have taken one example. First order system with a steady state gain of 2. Okay. So steady state gain is 2 here, and time constant is 3. Okay. So it means the transfer function becomes 2 upon 1 plus 3s, right? 2 upon 1 plus 3s is under PI control. So PI means proportional plus integral control. Okay, proportional plus integral control. And with the KC is given in the PI control, will discuss after some time. There's no problem in this one. You can understand this. If you're not able to understand, I will discuss in some moment. So this is the Kc. Kc is the proportional constant, and integral terms will give some derivative integral time, that is the 1 upon tau y. This is the parameter of the PI controller. So the parameter of the PI controller is given Kc is equals to 4 and 1 upon tau y is equals to 3 by 4. So we have to determine either this closed loop system is stable or not. Okay. So let's say this is we will draw the block diagram of the process. So this is the diagram of the process 3s plus 1. This is the process, okay? And to the process a PI controller. PI controller means, what is the PI controller? PI controller means Kc uh, into 1 upon 1 plus 1 upon tau is, okay? Tau is, this is the transfer function. Kc, this is the Kc, right? This is the Kc. So this is the transfer function of the any PI controller, and this is the comparator, this is the set point, and from the comparator there is a feedback. Okay, and this is the block diagram of this picture. So now we have to determine the closed loop total process is either stable or not. Okay, so as you know, the stability of the system is determined only by the characteristic equation. And what do you mean by the characteristic equation? The characteristic equation is given by, I have not mentioned here any. Okay, the characteristic equation is the denominator polynomials, that is the gs upon 1 plus gshs. Let's say this is the transfer function of closed loop, gs upon 1 plus gshs. So the characteristic equation is defined as the 1 upon gs plus hs equal to 0. So this is the polynomials. The location of the poles, the closed loop poles is generally determined by the characteristic equation, and this characteristic equation will decide the stability. Why? Because the characteristic equation 1 upon gs such as 1 plus gs such as equal to 0 will determine the location of the pole, closed loop pole, and then that location will decide the stability of the system. So see the characteristic equation. The characteristic equation of this is nothing but 1 plus GGC. So this one is, let's say, the GC, and let's say this one is the G gain of the process, and this is the gain of the controller. Okay. So gain of the process is given like this one, K upon 1 per tau s plus 1. That is the 2. DC gain is given here 2, and tau is given as a 3. So this is the 2 and this is the 3. Okay. And now Kc into 1 plus 1 upon tau is, this is the PI controller, proportional integral controller. So 1 upon tau is, just put the value, this one and 4, and this one the 3 by 4, and try to solve this equation. When you solve this equation, you got the s square plus 3s plus 2. Okay. And when you calculate or when you compute the value, s is equals to minus 1, s is equals to minus 2, you will got. So if both the poles are lying in the negative side of the left hand side, you can say the system is stable. Okay. Now, what is the stability condition in the for the state space equation? So it is very simple. In the simple terms, in the most simple terms, you can say a linear system is the eigenvalue. Okay, it depends. Generally, in the transfer function case, we have decided the stability from the characteristic equation. However, in the ABCD, in the state space equation, we will define our stability from the eigenvalue. Okay, if eigenvalue is negative, that means all the poles are lying in the left hand side of the complex plane. Okay, so see why I'm what is the logic behind that? It may be clear from this example. Let's say this is the one case, ys is equals to uh, problem is given, ys is equals to, let's say, 5 upon s square plus 6 minus 6, s square plus s minus 6 us. Okay, so just to we can convert this equation into the state space, ys upon us is equals to 5 upon s square plus s square, or you can multiply this one is here and this one to this one. Okay, and the initial condition we have taken 0. So then it has been developed. Okay, so uh, so based on that you can find out the differential equation against this equation, Laplace transfer function. So it represents second derivative represents the first derivative. Based on this, we have developed this one d2y by dt square plus dy by dt minus 6y 5 ut. Okay. Now for the state space equation, as you know, dx1 by dt is taken as x2. Okay, and dx2 by dt, that is the derivative of this one. Basically, this is the dy1 by dt. Here we have x1 is equals to nothing but y. Okay, x1 is nothing but y. Then we can write dx1 by dt equals to x2, and dx2. Sorry, this is the x is y, not x1 and x2. This is x. We have taken here y. Okay, so dy1 by dt is equals to basically x2, and dy2 by dt or dx2 by dt is equals to this one. So it becomes a minus of x2 minus of x2. Okay, plus 6 1 plus 5 ut, right? So this was the case. Okay, minus इधर जाएगा, ये वाला इधर चला गया, तो बचा आपका ये. ठीक है. So or similarly the output is this one, y equal to x1. So y here we have taken x1. Okay, or like we have written the state space equation a b c matrix. Now see the characteristic equation. See the characteristic equation s square plus s minus 6. So find out the eigenvalue, or the eigenvalue is same as as a as the characteristic equation poles. So when you find out the eigenvalue, you can calculate the value. One is the positive and one is the negative. So if the positive value says the one is lying in the right hand side and one is lying in the left hand side, these two poles says. So ultimately this is the unstable because one pole is lying in the right hand side. Okay. So this is the conclusion. Okay, you can calculate the eigenvalue from this also. Okay, you can calculate the eigenvalue from this also, and if the eigenvalue is again negative, then you can say the system is unstable. Now, stability analysis for a closed loop pose boils down to investigating the root of the characteristic equation. Okay, so all things are depends on the root of the characteristic equation. What is the nature of the root of the characteristic equation? Okay, so the characteristic equation is a polynomial. As you know, it's the second order or the third order, the fourth order, the fifth order. You don't know. If the characteristic equation is a polynomial in S, that's the Laplace, which order is of course determined by the order of contributing the transfer function. It's not to be difficult to see from the above example that is that we have mentioned here for lower order polynomials characteristic equation, that is if the second order is here. So from second order equation, it is easy to calculate the root. Okay, and the stability may be analyzed. But if the polynomial is having a higher order, then it is not very easy to find out the roots. Okay, and it is a very tedious task to solve the polynomials, higher order polynomials. Okay, so for such type of the system, the stability analysis is done using the Routh array. Okay, and some other techniques is also there to find out the stability, that is the root locus and Bode plot. That's the Bode plot, and the Nyquist is the frequency domain analysis based, whereas the root locus and the Routh array is the time domain analysis based. So if the time will allow, then we will cover tomorrow or day after tomorrow these four topics. Otherwise, we will start. We are constricted here. We are restricted here for the controller part. Okay. So now come to the industrial controllers. Okay. So what do you mean by industrial controller? What do you mean industrial controller? Okay. So what is the industrial controller? Industrial controller is what is the objective of the industrial controller? This picture. This is the picture. Suppose there are two stream x1 and x2. W1 and W2 is the flow feed full flow. Okay, feed flow and entering into the tank. Okay, And now we are x1 and x2 is the component, or you can say salt, entering into the tank. This is the concentration. This is the concentration of x1 and x2, are concentration of some salt entering into the tank. This one. And now our target is to to maintain the concentration, final concentration of the solution is at x. Okay. So we can we have measured the analyze using the analyzer. Okay. And using the analyzer transmitter, we have sent the signal to the controller, analyzer controller, and then there is some set point. Okay. And from the set point we have calculated some error, and then we have sent some to the valve, some valve. ip what is the ip is nothing but current to pressure. Okay. There's the pneumatic signal. So what we have, basically automatic controller is the electronics signal. Okay. Okay. Whereas, sorry for the interruption. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yes. Visible. So that is the current to pressure. Okay. So basically automatic, this controller is electronics controller, and it works on the current signal. Okay. So this is also the current, the sensor is also one giving the uh, current signal. Okay. However, it is the physical, it is a pneumatic signal works on. Okay. And then the signal is sent to the, whatever the signal generated by the controller, that is the pressure signal. Okay. uh, and this is converted by the current to pressure transmitter. Okay. A current to pressure will create some type of pressure signal that will act to the final control element, and the final control element will act accordingly. Either that will go open or close as per the desired value given by the set point, and then changing the flow rate of the stream 2, and then the concentration of this tank, final solution will be controlled. Okay. So what is the aim, what is the objective? The objective is to keep the tank exit composition x at the desired value set point by adjusting w2. So we have adjusting the feed flow rate of w2, and keeping the concentration at x. Okay. So the flow rate. Okay. Now a composition analyzer transmitter, that is the this 80, measures the exit value, what we have already discussed these things. Okay. Now what is the feedback control loop? What are the different components of the feedback control loops? So first is one is the process being controlled, that is the blending process here. In this case we have taken the process, blending process. Then some sensor are there. In this case we have taken analyzer. In the some feedback controller are there, that is the we have taken whatever the PPID, whatever the controller we are going to discuss today. Then control current to pressure transducer. Okay, that's I to P converter. Okay, and then FC, final control valve. So we will try to cover this part and this part in 2 days. First today and day after tomorrow. We will try to cover this and this, because these two topics are generally not covered in your class. Okay, in very brief. Okay. So we will try to discuss this one. Now, the standard range of the input output signal are 4 to 20 milliampere and 1 to 5 volts. This is the electrical signal. This is the standard signal, and this is the standard signal for the pressure 3 to 15 psi. Why such type of convention has been taken? When we will discuss the final control element, then we will discuss it. I will give the answer of this question. Okay. So now, what are the different industrial controller? So automatic controller. This we are going to study this part. Okay, feedback controller. This part, that is the that is here automatic control. This we are going to discuss this part. Okay. So now, what are the different industrial controller used generally? This is the core part. Okay. Nowadays, there are so many controllers based on the advanced techniques or the optimization techniques based controllers have been designed. Okay. But generally, we are today till we are using this industrial controller only. So proportional controller, integral controller, derivative controller, proportional plus PI. This is the PI controller. This is the shorten name is P. The shorten name of this one is I. This one is the D. This one is the PI. This one is the PD, proportional plus derivative controller, and then proportional plus integral plus derivative controller, PID. PID. So, as a control engineer, if your area is your if you want to make your career in the control system, then you have to know this part very very strong. You have to make this part very strong. Okay. So now come to this section. We are going to start with the proportional controller. So can we continue, Amitesh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have time of 50 minutes now.
Yes,
At
sir.
a 5:45 we can continue, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So proportional control, the proportional control, as the name suggests, the proportional control. Proportionality means uh, you can visualize from the from the block diagrams. Let's say this is the process. Okay, this is the GS process, and let's say this is the controller that is going to control our process. This is the controller GC. Let's say this is the GC. Now, what we are, this is the comparator. Okay, sorry, this is the comparator, and from this comparator, some feedback is connected. Here, one valve is there also, but we have not mentioned here. Let's say this is a valve GB, control valve, final control element, right? Now, what happened? This is the R value. This is the input value. Okay, this is the feedback is there. Feedback generate the error. Okay, and this error goes to the controller part, and the controller part will generate some errors, some signal P. Okay, and this signal P is going to command the control valve, and control valve act accordingly. Either the that valve flow increases the flow or decreases the flow, and then the final your process will go into control. So based on that GC input and output, the input of the GC is the error. It means what I want to say. I want to make only the comment here. The input of GC control controller is nothing but error, and the output is nothing but the some signal PT. Okay, so this is the case only that I want to mention here. So based on this, your all the control action or the control can be designed. So as the name suggests, proportional controller, it means your error is changing. What is the error? Basically, error is nothing but the set point. Okay, whatever the set point is here, and what you have measured here. Okay, so it is a calculated set point minus measured value. Okay, so this is uh, the error, the control output signal, this is the P, is proportional to error. So this is the concept of the proportional control. So proportional control means P is directly proportional to error. but but we have written here, discard this screen. Okay, now see, but we have written here, we have written, the PT is equals to this one. You understand? What I have said. I have said PT is equals to PT is nothing but directly proportional to ET. Okay, ET. Okay, and this when the proportionality sign will removed, the one constant is comes, and that constant is not a proportionality constant, that is the Kc, and the relation will develop as a Pth equals to Kc into Et. But we have written like this one. We have written Pt is equals to P bar plus Kc into Et. Or generally the book writes Pt is equals to Kc into Et. So what the contradiction? What is the contradiction? So the contradiction is the same equation is written, but this is the practical equation, and whatever the general books are written, that books are the ideal. So what is the practical? I am saying it is a practical, because when you some perform some personal controller in the lab, when you perform some experiment on the personal control in the lab, then you got there is some fixed value. Okay, there's some fixed value. Then from them the system will start. Okay, so that value is nothing but the steady state value. That fixed value is nothing but the steady state value, and this p bar then is known as bias value. Okay, so one steady state, suppose that the temperature of any tank is changing from 120 to 1, let's say 150. So before this is the 120, and after the changing, this is the 150. Okay, so our steady state value before changing is 120, not 0. So that is the steady state value. Okay, so for that reference, we have taken some reference value and written here. So this is called the bias value, that is mentioned here. Okay, so I think it is clear. So it means the equation becomes what? The final equation becomes Pt is equals to P bar plus Kc into Et. P bar plus Kc into Et, right? So this is the general equation of the proportional controller. But if the bias value is carrying from in the left hand side, then the equation becomes Pt minus P bar Kc into Et. Or let's say this Pt minus P bar is, let's say, it is known as the P dash, P prime. Okay, and P prime becomes Kc into Et. Okay, Kc prime becomes Kc into Et. And when you take the Laplace of this prime and this one, then it becomes capital P bar S upon capital Es. Capital Es is equals to Kc. So this is the transfer function for this, the transfer function of this one. Okay, so you can see here what we have done. This is the P bar. Okay, and this is the Kc. So P bar T is equals to Kc into T. We have taken the Laplace of this one, and the now you can notice. Okay, now, so this is the case. Now for the digital implementation, okay, the P and E often express a number between 0 and 10. Generally, the controllers used, whatever the controller provided to you in the lab or the industries, are generally that is the digital controller. Okay. Now we are not now using. We are just studying the analog controller, but in the practical problems, we are generally using the digital controller. And which type of controller we will use, we will discuss after some today or tomorrow. So the value, the digital value, for the digital value, the proportional controller, the number is lying between in percentage. Percentage means what percentage of the valve we are going to open or we are going to close. Ultimately, the command of the controller, ultimately the command of the controller is transferred to the final control element. So final control element will receive in the percentage term what amount of the percentage I have to open or I have to close. I have to respond ultimately. Okay. So that is given in the term of percentage, therefore, and this representation is usually used by computing some software. Okay. So for the computers control software, such type of implementation has been used. Okay, so So here it is defined the mathematical the performance is defined in the terms of proportional band. Okay, the performance is defined in the terms of proportional band. So see, there's a one universal formula: gain into bandwidth is product is always a constant. In the electronics or in the electrical science, you must remember this formula: gain into bandwidth product. If you don't know, then just remember this one: gain into bandwidth product is always a constant. If bandwidth will increase, then it will decrease, and if this one is increased, then this will decrease as per accordingly. So this one is always a constant. So see here what we have mentioned here. This is the on case. This is the off case. This is the on. This is the off. Okay, on case, and this is the off. On off means the proportional controller is on here 100%, and 100% is air off. Okay, 100% this line represent the 100% off. Okay, so this is the gain KC. Okay, and this is the bandwidth. Okay, this is the bandwidth. So this one is the bandwidth, right? This one is the bandwidth. So as the gain will increase, as the gain will increase, the bandwidth will decrease as from this formula. So bandwidth decrease means it will the slope will now decreases, and at last sorry, at last this line becomes zero, perpendicular. This is a vertical line. At which condition? The condition will be the proportional band becomes zero. Okay, it means if this is proportional band is zero, or the value is very very low or narrow, it means at that value the gain the kc, the value kc is very very high, very very high. So it means at the very high value of kc, at the high value of kc, the proportional band becomes very narrow or becomes at almost zero, and the response is looking like a on off controller. This is the simply on off controller, or in some literature it is written as a bang controller. Bang controller, bang controller. Okay, bang controller. In some book it is written as a bang, right? So it means proportional controller is can be act as a uh, on off controller when what is the condition? If the condition will be the gain should be very very high, automatically the proportional band becomes very very low. Okay, and the proportional band is given in terms of 100 by kc. Okay, 100 by kc. So the product of the proportional band and kc is a fix, and it is the maximum given in the terms of it is defined. The manufacturer has defined these terms: PB into 100 kc. Okay, PB into kc, there's the bandwidth into kc is 100%. Okay, it is defined, and based on this PB will be defined kc by 100 by kc. Okay, so whatever you choose the value of kc, as per that the bandwidth will define. Okay, so now there is a problem with one this is the maximum value, this is the minimum value we have taken with the saturation, we have this value limit. Okay, uh, one problem is with the disadvantage of proportional control, that is the steady state error. Steady state error is always a steady state error means offset. One offset is always placed present in the case of the the proportional controller, right? So why I'm saying the steady state error is present in the proportional controller. uh, I have not discussed in the slide, in our slide ess. Basically a steady state error is depend on the type of the system, and the steady state error, the definition of when you read the books, In that book, the formula for steady state is given at ESS is equals to limit S tends to 0, S into RS upon 1 plus GSHS. Okay, RS upon 1 plus GSHS. So this is the equation for the ESS, steady state error, right? And let's say the proportional controller KC is used for the first order system. Okay, first order system means you understand. I think you are able to understand what I am saying. If not, please let me know what are you not understanding. Let's say this is the first order system, right? And this is the proportional controller. Let's say, and then we have applied with the some feedback. Okay, and this is the case. And let's say we are supplying 1 upon S. Let's say we have supplied the step input. So in that case, let's say this is 1 upon S, this is a KC into 1 upon GS is, what is the GS? HS is given 1. HS is given 1. However, what is the total GS? GS becomes KC into 1 upon 1 per tau S. So ESS becomes limit S tends to 0, 1 upon S. Okay, I'm taking the new page so that you can understand it very carefully. Okay, so Kc into 1 upon 1 plus tau s is the transfer function. Okay. So the the error is defined as limit s tends to 0, s into rs. Rs is nothing but the 1 upon s upon 1 plus gshs, and gshs is given like 1 plus 1 upon tau s. Okay. So it will cancel to each other when you put this one s equals to 0. So it becomes 1 upon 1 plus kc. And this is the steady state error. Okay, this is the steady state error, or this is the offset. This offset is always present for the first order case. So therefore, I am saying there is always a chance of offset in the case of proportional controller. So how it is reduced? Bandwidth it will give for the high value of gain. For the high value of gain, it will reduce. Steady state will reduce. But steady state will reduce. But the problem in that the steady if you increase the value of kc very high, then again the proportional controller, there's a chance to convert the proportional controller into the into the on off controller or bang controller. So we are avoiding such type of medicine. Therefore we have to choose second type of or the other type of controller, that is the integral controller or the derivative controller or the PID controller. Okay, so I'm just stopping here. Okay, and if you have any query, I am taking some query so that you can I can give you an answer of that your query, and we will proceed to tomorrow of the remaining portion. Okay, so Amitesh, are you audible?
Sir, query has been shared on your email.
Okay. मनीष आ जाओ ऊपर आ जाओ. हाँ, मैं ऊपर आ जाओ क्लास में और रूम ऑफिस में. हाँ तो इधर आ जाओ, कोई बात, थोड़ा सा लेक्चर ले रहा हूँ 2 मिनट में, फिर हो जाऊँ. हाँ, so uh, we have asked some question. Can impulse response of under damped system be taken? Yes, obviously you can take, but generally we are taking the uh, step response for better understanding. Okay, so next is, sir, can you please give practical example of critical damping? Yes, we can. I can give you. When you design any instrument, okay, any measurement instrument such as potentiometer or whatever, okay, your target basically that potentiometer or whatever the measurement system.
एड्रेस शेयर
uh,
कर दीजिए.
क्या
नो सर, ओके.
Amitya? Uh, that is becomes of some damper or some spring type of problem. Okay, so that spring type of problem is basically if you find the dynamics of that damper mass springer damp system, then you are you can say that you can find out the transfer function of that second order system, and then you have to set the value of the zeta and the value of zeta. Okay, so if you set the value of zeta equal to 1 by some mechanical calibration, okay, then you are not able to exactly do either you will do the some high, you will do some higher value, fix some higher value. Okay, so this is the case of the critical damping. You just to read the measurement system by case Kalsi book. Okay, Kalsi book, in that book that is given. Okay, so problem in a step response of under damped system. Basically, a step response is testing signal. Step input is testing signal. Okay, and we are just supplying the system this type of input to the second order system or the first order system, and find out some response. Okay, so under damped response is one of that response. Okay, under damped response is one of that response, and we are visualizing or we are analyzing that response only. Okay, so there is no problem in the step response. Okay, what is the BIBO versus transfer function? There is no relation between the BIBO. BIBO is only states about the stability, bounded input, bounded output, where however the transfer function relates the input and output. Okay, transfer function relating the input and output, however, the BIBO will only states the system stability. For the for the bounded input, the output should be bounded only. I have a question which is not related to this topic, but please, sir, answer me. My question is thermocouple an active sensor or passive sensor? What do you think? First of all, also it is self-generating sensor or else? See, active sensor means you have to give the supply or not. Okay, so if thermocouple is the active sensor, thermocouple is the active sensor because it does not need any power supply. It only works on the two heat junction is there inside that two different metals. It works on the Seebeck effect, or the Peltier effect. Okay, and the Thomson effect also. Two two metallic two different metals are joined. Okay, uh, based on their the chemical reaction series. Okay, and then actually based on thermal properties, they are take the choosing we are choosing some different two metals, and then we are at the joint. We one joint is to be heated and one joint to be keep cold as comparison to the first one. Okay, and then some type of energy excitation is going on, and then electron is moving inside the this one. So this is a self-generating sensor, nothing in this. Okay, what is the main purpose of this seminar? I don't know. I also don't know the question. Just to ask from your coordinator, can zeros affect the system or not? Yes, obviously zero will affect the system. What will happen? We will add zeros and the pole in the system. What will happen when we add zeros and pole in the system? Is the marginally stable? Is purely stable? See, marginally stable system is not purely stable. Okay, as I said, uh, As I said, in the mathematics, there are different terms for the stability. First is the marginal stable, unstable, and stable, and other types of stability is also there. Asymptotic stable, that is not in your LTI system. Okay, so these are the some different stable terms is given, but marginally stable is a entirely different things from the stable. It is neither stable or non unstable. Okay, what is the meaning of a stability and control system in others and in other system? Stability means, let's say we have a cone, we have सपोज करो तुम्हारे पास कोई आइसक्रीम है, ठीक है, और आइसक्रीम में तुमने ऊपर से उसमें एक बॉल टाइप का तुमने डाल दिया, ऊपर से छोटा सा एक छोटा बॉल। तो उसमें आपको देखना है कि किस किस पॉइंट पर आपको स्टेबिलिटी वहां पर मिलेगी। लास्ट में तुम देखोगे क्या कि लास्ट के जो नीचे वाला जो हिस्सा है वहीं पर जाके वो रुकेगा। तो वाई और क्वेश्चन हमारा हम लोग का क्वेश्चन ये है कि वहां पर जाके क्यों रुक रहा है, आगे पीछे कहीं नहीं रुक, क्यों नहीं रुक रहा है वो। The extreme position of the pendulum is also such uh, uh, one situation where it should be the system stable, क्योंकि वहीं पर वो रुक रहा है, वहां से निकल रहा है। तो there are different meaning, there are different control system where we have to see the stability terms. Okay, I am totally confused, please explain it sir. So stability तुम्हारे लिए तुम लोग के टर्म में, बीटेक के टर्म में केवल इतना समझो कि स्टेबिलिटी का मतलब है BIBO system first, and second, all the poles should be the negative. All the poles should be the negative, or negative. It means the all the poles lying in the left hand side. Nothing else. Nothing else. It is a stable. Because तुमको क्या करना है, सबसे पहले किसी चीज की स्टेबिलिटी फाइंड करने के लिए आपको डायनेमिक्स चाहिए। Once you have the dynamics, then you just see the location of poles. Nothing else. For the LTI system. Okay, अगर LTI system नहीं है तब there are so many stability techniques to determine. Okay, और इस पर अभी रिसर्च चल ही रहा है, अभी भी चलता है। There's a burning area for the control engineers, okay, or control scientists. Okay, there are Lyapunov techniques. There are so many techniques of finding the non-linear stability. In theory, it is easy to implement, but in the practice, it is very difficult. I agree with you. It is very difficult to implement the stability in the real time. Okay, because real time problems are non-linear, and all the non-linear, and for the non-linear, the design of the stability is one of the the challenging task. Okay, next is okay, what is overshoot? Overshoot, undershoot, I we already discussed. If you understood the undershoot, overshoot means the maximum peak where it goes. It means it means if suppose you have desired value is 10, okay, desired value is 10 kg per minute or whatever the value, and you crosses that 10 and maximum due to the some, suppose करो तुम दौड़ रहे हो और तुमको रुकना है मान लो किसी लाइन पर, लेकिन तुम क्या करोगे, तुम्हारे में इनर्सिया है और तुम कुछ देर बाद जाके रुकोगे, कुछ देर बाद जाके रुकोगे ड्यू टू सम इनर्सिया, यू विल नॉट स्टॉप एट दैट लाइन। ओके, और धीरे धीरे जाके तुम आगे चले जाते हो, वहां पर रुकते हो। ठीक है, तो ये क्या है, दिस इज द जहां पे जाके तुम रुकते हो, ये मैक्सिमम, ये ओवरशूट है, तुम ओवरशूट कर गए अपने पॉइंट को, दैट इज द ओवरशूट। ओके, uh, same like a undershoot. Okay, whatever the target is there and you crosses the target, and then you come to again for return to the target, that is your overshoot and undershoot. Then nothing else about control objective and signal test. Control objective is only for the maintaining your whatever the physical parameters of the process. Suppose you are going to control the temperature or flow or the level, then your objective is to make the system like that the desired value or the set point you can be tracked or you can be maintained. Signal test we have discussed already, these things, the impulse signal and all the step signal, ramp signal we have discussed. What is BIBO versus transfer function? Again, that is we have already taken. Okay. Bang control. Can you once more about the bang control? Bang control is on-off control, and on-off control is designed with the help of the proportional controller generally. And what we have to do for making the bang controller, we have to make the gain very high, kc. Okay, if once you set the value the very kc very high, then you got the bandwidth of the controller is zero, almost zero. And then the proportional controller behaves as a bang controller or on-off controller. What are the software used to simulate the control system of thermal system like boilers? If you for your study point, ANSYS software is there, so you can use the ANSYS. Okay, to for the chemical process, for the control purpose. Okay, I am not only checking the stability of the system by the help of the state space. Just to once go through today my ppt I will share. If you're not able to understand, then we will again we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, so thank you, Amitesh. Just I am handing over the session to you. Please comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. The today's session was really good. Hope the participants enjoyed it.
Okay, okay. So we will
Now
start
we will.
tomorrow with the controller part.
Yes, sir. We will continue tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Thank you,
Amitesh.
sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.